Hmm. Alright. Hello, everybody. It's me, Desire Marsh, and I'm here to do something special. Alright, so one of the many reasons I want to record videos for Summoner's War is for fun, but if I can get someone to learn anything about the game or anything, it would be nice. So, um, I, for lack of better terms, started a different account, but on a different server. This is the Europe server. I may or may not, show some stuff from either my main account on the global server or the Europe or EU server to help people who are new to the game do stuff. Now, again, I've been kind of playing around with it to do stuff, so I've gotten some of the stuff cleared, but from starting out new, you gain a lot of things and other stuff, and rewards and stuff for getting through the story campaign. Again, I'm quite sorry that I did not manage to get through it all, or rather record to show you, but so far, here are the monsters. The ones that are locked are the ones that I'm going to at least try and keep and or be used. So if you start the game, you get three monsters roughly around the bat. You get the Water Fairy, the Fire Hellhound, and the Wind Vagabond. Of course, you do get an LD scroll, or Light and Dark scroll, and you get the Light Garuda. Through clearing some of these scenarios, you'll get some energy runes, like a full set of Fatal on, I forget which ones, and a full set of Blade runes. You'll gain two monsters throughout your little campaign, going through the story mode. You'll gain the Light Elven Ranger, and you'll gain the Water Magic Knight. If I have to say anything, the Water Magic Knight is amazing. But I'm gonna do a little bit of kind of more into the story campaign. A little bit. This is the team I'm running currently. Again, this is a somewhat fresh account. I've been playing a little bit, but it's decent so far. And if I can't clear anything, it levels up the monsters. So I'm gonna let this run, and whatnot. I'm gonna let you run through that. So yeah. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had a little bit of something to do, but it's just something small. I had to take care of a little bit, but yeah. So again, now this team isn't really as good as I want it to be or anything, but again, this is just to help. I guess it's to help people who are beginners or beginning the game to help kind of understand some things. But we just kind of want to make a little tiny announcement about this. So yeah, and again, I will be doing some stuff in between. So there will be stuff from both servers to go through, and I can do a little bit of shining on some things. Mm. And just to help, just so again, here I did not clear clear it, but I mean, I have a lot of tries here to go through with it, and you know what, I might, I have a little bit of stuff to use here. Okay, so, we're going to do a bit of feeding here, or we're going to level up our monsters. Now, in the game, there are a lot of things you are going to have to consider. Now, people who've already watched some videos of Summer 4 may know, but there are many types of features and stuff that have gone and been added to the game, along with just a multitude of things. But so for people who are new to the game, I would like to welcome you to this game. It is a fun game that when you get further down the road, it can get a lot frustrating, and yes, there's a lot of things about it. But this is more of, I would say, a step-by-step guide of what the kind of like, I guess, do's and don'ts of the game, at least. I mean, play the game how you wish. That is one thing I will say. But I think that there is a better way to do things, if you can go with that. There are better ways to do things, and how you. So, let's see. Let's get into it. I've played the game for roughly now 3 years. The game's been out currently for 4 years. I've had experience with the game. And my experience is actually pretty decent, I guess. But I went into this game more or less, when I first started out, completely amateur. Complete, noob status, whatnot. I mean, as I'm talking, I'm going to be checking a lot of other things, a little bit of multitasking here, but again, I started this game very rough. Very, very roughly. But I got better, and over time, I got more in tune. One of the things about this game, if you're very new to this game, or the style of game, and you're just starting out, what I recommend is find videos, tutorials if you can, but and this one is a kind of video tutorial, and one of the things that is a requirement is be very aware of what you're doing, and be more kind of focused, if you will. one of the things that will screw you over is not being focused or anything. This is something that I, who first started the game when I was first introduced to it by, a good person of mine, a relative, he introduced me to the game, and I got started. I was pretty horrible, and I took what you could call the chaotic approach. I just did things and not I didn't really succeed as well. But if this is something that can reach, if these videos can reach someone, I would be happy if it can help someone. Pretty much one of my other kind of key goals in making these videos. So, for anyone who can watch these videos, I'll be happy. Again, right now we're going through Taymor Desert. Once I finish this round, I will kind of, I guess, give some tidbits and information about the other scenarios for the story, for like the story of the game, or it's like the main campaign, as it were. And I'll give my little tidbits and kind of guides, as well as some of the monsters you gain early on. And if I gain any monsters on this server, for the server, I will do my best to maybe give some reviews about them and anything. Now, for one thing is, I'm just trying to get through the story part as of late, so most of the things that are there I slightly don't care about at the moment, because it'll get better as time progresses. Of course, just like my main account, D Marsh, as it were, both this one and D Mason will be free to play accounts, as in I'm not going to invest any money whatsoever to get better at this game. And let me kind of pop out here. So there's going to be a lot of things when you first start out. You're going to get scrolls to summon, all that. There's going to be a lot of things you'll be getting. So, things to learn about the game, or at least you should know, is you have units and monsters and such. The game is kind of like a turn-based RPG that has gained many features over the course of time that it's been out. So there are let's see. So the way you progress through the game and just go through it is you use your units or monsters that you summon to kind of battle your way through. So right now you just see the normal interface, or the normal spot you always see when you log into the game. Of course, there will be some things like little side/mini quests for you to kind of do to help for your progression. And yeah, so let's go to our kind of monster list, and I'm gonna go through the 4 core units you get in the game before you got some of the new rewards that come out of it. So, in the beginning, your core units, until you wish to summon them, are the Water Fairy, Fire Hellhound, the Wind Vagabond, and the Light Garuda. So we're going to start with how the game works. So there is a thing referred to as elemental advantage. So there are 5 attributes in the game: fire, water, wind, light, and dark. And fire, water, and wind counter each other, kind of sort of like a rock, paper, scissors sort of deal. Fire beats wind, wind beats water, and water beats fire, whereas light and dark counter each other. And that's how kind of the game works. That's how you can kind of start using part of the strategy into it. So, when you first begin, let's kind of get into it. The Water Fairy is essentially your first big healer monster. With every monster, there are 4 types. You have support, HP, attack, and defense monsters. Support monsters are kind of self-explanatory, that they kind of help support your team in how they go through things. Attack monsters like both of our, well, actually, he's HP. Let's see. I do not have a defense monster, but attack type monsters are monsters whose most of their abilities should scale off of their attack power, along with the 4 stats that you see exist. The 4 main stats, like HP, attack, defense, and speed. Then you have other things. Defense monsters tend to have higher defense, unlike their counterpart, which are attack type monsters who have more attack. And sometimes defense monsters will have skills that will scale off defense. HP monsters are pretty much monsters with higher attack hit points, and sometimes they have skills that scale off of HP. But going into the game, there are 8 stats in the game that each monster has, and there's a way to improve them. You have HP, or your hit points. How tanky, or how long can your monster live? Like, it's their life force, if you will. How many hits can they take before they die? Attack is a stat that helps to determine how much damage they do. Defense is the stat that helps to mitigate damage, or at least reduce it. And speed helps to determines the order of turns. Crit rate which is if you start going down. CRI rate, or crit rate, or to be more specific, critical rate, is the pretty much percentage of how often will you land a critical hit in terms of damage. Below crit rate is critical damage, which is a percentage of how much extra damage you'll do per doing a critical hit. Resistance is how you kind of defend against non-beneficial effects or debuffs. And accuracy is how much you get to land your own non-beneficial effects or debuffs, also referred to as harmful effects. So here right now, when you first boot up the game or go through all of the cutscenes, as there be a lot, first place to get to is Garon Forest. Now, all the scenarios have their own kind of special things about them, how they are laid out. Plus, they have their own types of drops. One of the things you will experience if you actually get it is one of the ways to power up the stats of your monsters. Each monster has a set level equal to the amount of stars they have. And the more you level them up, the stronger they become. But getting these things known as runes help to make your monsters even more better, or makes them stronger in certain aspects. There are a multitude of runes. I can go a little bit more in depth with possibly on this account or my main on the global. Again, I will think about it. Possibly gonna post the next video tomorrow. But plan is mostly showing stuff for the EU account more than the global account. The Europe account is what I want to show more for this channel than my global server account, since it's fully built, and even though it's a bit messed up, it's more better in certain ways. Now, after a while, well, I forget how far, but you will unlock the Kairos dungeon, which once we clear through the story campaign, I will get into a more in-depth discussion on it and what are the pros and cons about it and everything. But so far I've been playing through to Tamor Desert, and we're about to reach the end of it, which is pretty awesome. We'll get the rewards that come from beating the final stage for playing the game, or at least for playing in Tamor. And you know what? I may, once we finish out Tamor, I'm gonna probably cut the video there. Maybe, I don't know. Okay. Ooh. Seems we're going to need to make everything a bit more powerful. So it seems we don't have the strength that I thought I had for this. Yeah. Now, you can play the game one of two ways. There, you can do it manually, or you can, there's on the bottom left screen where you currently see a pause button. That is the autoplay feature. It will allow you to just let the game run on its own when going through like any gameplay that involves your monsters in battle. Plus, right beside it is it's kind of like the speed of how everything will run. Either ×1, ×2, and then ×3. ×1 is more like the slow motion. ×2 is kind of like normal speed, and ×3 is, the fastest, and we kind of barely cleared that one. Okay, we got a little bit more kind of cutscenes into it, but yeah, that we got almost defeated there. I wouldn't have been surprised that if I got defeated. I wouldn't have been surprised, but it would have been nice if we didn't lose so much. But so I guess I should go back to the monsters. Again, so the water fairy is going to be one of your biggest or best healers for most of the game till you can get some better ones. When I start getting more towards the dungeons, I will get a little more in depth, I guess. Yeah, more in depth. The Fire Hellhound is also going to be one of your bigger damage dealers. until you get the reward of the Light Elven Ranger and the Water Magic Knight. That's where they're going to be. Your best tank for the beginning of the game will be the Wind Vagabond. He's going to be your biggest tank for the time being. And your best reviver and mini healer is going to be the Light Garuda. Now, if there's one thing I will say is monsters who are light and dark are going to be the hardest to achieve, especially with the way the game does in leveling. When it comes to leveling of monsters, there are two things that kind of determine the strength of the monster. Their star grade and their level. Their level increases the higher the amount of the higher the star grade is. Now, a monster can go up to 6 stars as the max, and the lowest is 1. Now, monsters can get stronger in many ways, like the ruining of a monster to leveling, evolving, which when they reach the max level, they can go to the next star grade, reset back to level 1, and then you can start leveling them up to their maximum level. Another type of way of powering up your units or monsters is the awakening process. Now, awakening a monster requires materials that you get from farming the dungeons, which I can go a little bit more in depth on at a later date. I'm not going to clear probably this level of Tamor. I'm not going to clear this one. And I'm not going to do anything. Okay, so I'm going to kind of cut off the kind of progression of the story a little bit. But, or the story campaign. But, yeah. So, awakening a monster is a little bit different. As you can see there are these little materials. Awakening a monster can do a lot of strengthening to everything about the monster, and they gain certain benefits from it. Plus, they gain their own unique name, since there is a monster roughly for every attribute in the game. It means there's like a lot of monsters. There is, so like here, 1,060 times 5. So anyone who can do math, that's the amount of monsters you can get. That's the maximum for a complete set. Yeah. So to differentiate them all, each monster has their own set of skills, and you can compare them to the monster to the same because there are monsters who have multiple different attributes. Since they're an attribute for each monster, you can start going in through the family to help kind of evaluate them. So yeah, and for kind of comparisons, to go more in depth. I'll go more in depth on monsters that I can summon on here rather than here on the EU server rather than the global, because there's not much I can, get. So here's an example of something. So most monsters you will get are either Silver Star or Gold Star. Silver Star units are pretty much the fodder that you just use, but they can be evolved and everything, but they cannot be awakened. whereas units with gold stars cannot can. So when you do summoning, you have these things referred to as unknown scrolls, which is what's on there currently. Each monster has a set star rating before you start, upgrading and leveling and evolving them. So you have 1, 2. So from summoning with an unknown scroll, you can get a 1, 2, or 3 star unit. Now, one of the things to help make everything exciting is that when you summon, something known as lightning happens, or lightning starts to shoot from your summoning circle. I'm not getting much, but if it's on an unknown scroll, it means that you're getting a 3-star monster, preferably known to the community as a Nat 3, or the 2-star, it's a Nat 2. The Nat means like natural for the natural star grading before you level and evolve them. Mystical scrolls are very powerful. You can get them in the dungeons. You can buy them either by spending real world currency or using your resources in game when you have the opportunities, but those are somewhat rare. They can get you monsters from 3 to 5 stars. You can get very good and decent Nat 3s. You can get some Nat 4s, which can be amazing, but if you can summon a Nat 5, ooh, you get some good stuff. There is practically there is no bad Nat 5. Generally speaking. All Nat 5s are awesome. It just depends on a lot of different factors. Another thing are exclusive summons. I can talk about this later. Mystical summons, don't bother with them because they use a resource that's actually the premium currency known as crystals. It's best to leave them alone. The currency in game, you have the monostones and the crystals. And for now, I think I may call it off for right now, I think. Wait, maybe let's do I don't think I can do any more power-ups as I'm late to get anything. Right now I don't really want to deal with the arena so far, but honestly I think that covers my EU account. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. If you find it, please leave at least one like. Please leave a comment or multiple. Please have some questions if possible. And of course, please subscribe and even favorite the video if you do so. And I think I'll be done for the day. So, peace out.